There it is.
Oh, there
Oh my God, so much violence. So much violence.
he is. Look at him with his now recording with his RP British tone.
I never got to see if we could change his voice. I never got around to it.
It's all good. And just every time I hear him, I think of like the people who are like in like golf channels where they're like, and he's setting up. Look, he's about to swing, and oh look at that, it's a birdie. Everyone's clapping on the field right now, and then just the tiny little claps. Like,
Okay, first off, why are you watching golf? Is that your sport?
I don't watch golf. I unfortunately, when I was younger, I watched a lot of ESPN and Sports Center, and so when late at night they would show repeats of stuff. Unfortunately, golf was one of them, and you would just have to hear it. And so I was one of those people who didn't watch golf but knew quite a bit about golf. It's weird. Like our history professor would do trivia, and then if it was a golf question or tennis question, even though I don't play either sport, I was the one that knew. It was odd, but it's fine. It's fine.
Hey, it's okay. We all have that one weird. I mean, not weird. That's not what I meant to say. One unique. Yes.
Unique. Very, very yes.
Yes, one unique thing that we're just good at. Yeah.
So what's your weird thing that you're good at, Silver?
Nothing. See, and that's where you're already winning. I have no talent. I am talentless.
That's a lie.
I don't know. I can whistle very well, and I'm not going to do it right now over the microphone because it's going to blow our ears. But I've been told by many people, various sources, that I whistle very well. And I think it's because I have huge cheeks and I have plenty of air compression happening in my mouth. I almost said something, but I'm not going to say that because I swear it's going to get taken out of context. Anyways.
Oh my God.
I can whistle very well. That's it.
Okay, fair. We'll just leave it at that.
Welcome to episode. What episode
2,
is this?
Because we're the pilot,
officially, right? Okay.
Yep.
I almost said 3. I'm sorry.
Roll it back, rewind it. We're restarting. It's fine. No, I'm kidding.
No, not editing this.
You're not editing this? Oh my God.
No, they deserve raw and uncensored Anbu and Silver.
So oh no. Oh boy.
How miserable did we make? Sorry to keep going like on a tangent, but I feel like we need to fill in the air a little bit on this episode because it might be a little bit shorter as we were talking about earlier. But how miserable did we make Skittles last time we were playing on stream and reminding her? I mean, clearly we've hit a nerve because she even posted on Twitter how thirsty we are about Puppy Pascal.
Oh my God. Okay, so for context to everybody who is listening to this episode, we have been working with our good friend Skittles, who's known as Sugar and Spice on Twitch and also on Twitter, but has the Skittles Juice handle. Please follow her. She's an amazing artist, and you should definitely, if you ever want art, commission her. We have a little DM group where we've been keeping up because she's developing our cover art for this podcast. So you'll see the cover art when it comes out. But we've been, she'll ask us for references. She'll ask us for date details, and as you well know from the first 2 episodes, the pilot and the first episode, we are a church of Puppy Pascal. We adore, we worship this man, we ground of his feet. Exactly. And so we don't hide it. And it came up in a birthday stream as we were talking about how we have a church. We tried to bring everybody in the stream into the Church of Puppy Pascal. And our friend Skittles has posted in her Twitter about how we are just always thirsty for Puppy Pascal. But my question to you, dear audience, is how can you not be thirsty for Poppy Pascal? Seriously.
Yeah.
Anyone?
Yeah.
And
I
if you try to
mean,
think you
I'm
can't,
consistently thirsty.
and if you try to say that you're not, you're lying to yourself. It's fine. It's fine. You're just gaslighting yourself into believing that you're not. You know, he's look at him. Like, look at the man. The dude is a hardcore zaddy. Just like every time you look at him, you can't not love that adorable little smile that he does. It's hard to not love Poppy Pascal.
The way he noms on the sandwich and the meat, I could see that meme forever.
Yeah. And then
It's-
that lie detector test. Sorry, I interrupted you. Please go on. Describe your
No, not at all. Continue. I'm actually enjoying more your descriptions. I'm over here getting a little hot and bothered. Continue.
Oh my. Also, Skittles, if you're listening to this, enjoy. But
Also, that's all right.
I love the polygraph test when he does, where he talks about whether like do you consider yourself like a sweetheart or like attractive or something, and he tries to say no, and then the guy's just like, that was a lie, and they're like, are you lying? He's like, yeah, I'm lying. Just like yeah, right, you're lying, Poppy Pascal. Like, don't be lying to yourself. Don't be lying to everybody. You know. And we're all here for it. We're here for the Poppy Pascal show. This is the Poppy Pascal show. This is our reality. That's all it is. We are just NPCs in Poppy Pascal's world. We're okay with it.
And you know, for the cover, I don't know how the cover art, right at this moment while we're recording, we don't know how the final cover art is going to look like, but you all obviously know how it looks like because you're listening to this episode and it's right there in your face. But I know for sure that one thing is probably not going to be included there, but I swear we're going to make it happen. Somehow we're going to have to make it happen where we commission something else on the side for Skittles to make a stained glass of Poppy Pascal, just like standing there looking gorgeous into the sky, and then just with one robe. That's it, just a robe covering them. That's it. That's going to be the stained glass that's going to go in the tavern.
Exactly.
We're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen. I know she doesn't do. Does she do not safe for work stuff? I don't remember.
We can bring that up later. I don't know if we're supposed to advertise that they do, if she does or doesn't. But one thing I will also admit is we've also, aside from thirsting over Poppy Pascal, like when we gave her the characters that we wanted to utilize for our characters, oh my goodness, we just like set her off even more. It was hilarious. Like you with freaking Scanlan and just like oh my god. And then
oh my god, dude.
And
so
then
yeah,
like,
first thing she told us was like, "Are you sure, Silver, you want to be drawn as like Scanlan?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Why? What's wrong with that?" And she's like, "She's disgusting." And I was like, "Okay." I had not seen Vox Machina just yet, and I finally saw the couple of episodes. I was like, "Oh yeah, this little one is disgusting." I love it. I stand by what I said. I stand by what I said.
Oh my god! In fact,
I'm guessing you finally got around to watching some of the episodes, by the way.
I unfortunately have not, but I honestly like with next.
You're missing out on good time.
I know. I've been just okay. Why
do you not love yourself enough to watch Vox Machina?
Man, I've been honestly okay for everybody else here. Like, I've been too busy catching up on that Chris Chan documentary, and then also I've been a sucker playing Breath of the Wild because, like, so when I played Breath of the Wild first time like 3 years ago, I adore my friend, but my roommate and my friend decided to try to help me, and I didn't know how to tell them I don't like backseating. I'm the type where I'm like, oh cool, like give me advice, whatever, and I had basically completed 75% of the main storyline and had done like probably 40% of the shrines and done some side quests, but I realized I wasn't enjoying the game as much. So I kind of shelved it for a little bit because I was just like, I want to be able to play it where I enjoy it. And so I restarted it because Tears of the Kingdom was coming out and was like, okay, maybe I can finish this before Tears of the Kingdom comes out. Spoiler alert, there's no way in hell with how much there is in Breath of the Wild. Good luck. It takes a lot, especially for someone like me who's a completionist. You've got at least like 100 hours of video game right there. And I thought for some reason I could finish it in 3 weeks. So no. And I've been just enjoying playing it very slowly. I've also kind of gone about certain quests that I wasn't supposed to. Like I kind of cheated my way through the Lost Woods or the Croc Forest and got the Master Sword faster than I was
Nice.
supposed to. So like I'm bodying this game a lot quicker than I should be. And yeah, and like I think I told you off podcast, I've made a spreadsheet of what quests I've finished and which ones I need to complete. And if there's any preceding quests before that, listen, okay? I just want to know what I finished, all right? So that way I can keep up with it. But like I don't know, I've fallen in love with the game a lot, and I think what also kind of made another thing that I realized was what makes me love the game is that it reminds me a lot of Princess Mononoke, which is like my number one movie of all time. If there's any movie I'm going to tell you to watch and you ask me for a recommendation, that is my movie. I'll be like, that is a movie you should watch. It's a beautiful movie. It's a little bit on the darker side, probably the darkest Miyazaki movie and Ghibli film out there. But my goodness, is it beautiful, and like it's so complex of a movie that I will never shut up about it. And so that's just made me realize like why I love Breath of the Wild so much. Is like it reminds me of my favorite anime and movie of all time, and I'm like, I'm here for it. So
watch Princess Mononoke, guys. Also, I agree. Amazing film. I really enjoyed it myself. It is also one of my favorite films, animated films. But I haven't gotten a chance to be able to play the game either, the new Zelda game. I don't know if I'm gonna get a chance to, because I still haven't had a chance to. And I'm sorry if this is a little controversial, and I apologize. It's a game I'm gonna play whether you love me or hate me, guys. I'm so sorry. But I want to play Hogwarts. I grew up with the Wizarding World, so I really want to play it. So that I still need to play that, and then I'll probably play the new Zelda game. I still haven't even finished the most recent Pokemon game on my Switch. I just have not had time to play all these like amazing games that have come out. But as soon as I do, you probably see the streams for it. But anyways, let's get back to The Last of Us.
yeah.
But we digress. This episode was like I was telling Anbu a little bit earlier. It was pretty like straightforward. There's not a lot going on except for they're now out of the city. They're trying to move Ellie to the base. What are these ridiculous fireflies? There you go. I was like, what's that ridiculous name again? Firefly. Oh yeah. Yes, this is me continuing to rant on the stupid fucking name Firefly. Anyways, they're trying to get her to the what house? What was the name of it?
Well, I think it's the Founder's House, right? That was what it was. And what I will say about this episode is that it's probably the shortest in terms of runtime, I think, for The Last of Us, except for the finale. I think the finale runs as short, if not just a little bit longer, or it could be a little bit shorter. Either way, it's like one of the shorter episodes. But what it does really well for episode 2 is it pretty much lets you know how scary this world is. You kind of get a taste of some of the worst possible outcomes you have to navigate. Like, to jump in a little bit, like when they get through, when they see, actually, I think this is the right part. Forgive me for jumbling this up. Like one of the parts is when they're watching this giant group of infected, and the sun is coming at them, and then they're all rolling, and you see how they all react, but you see how many there are there, and it is scary. We get introduced to the clicker, which we'll go more in depth later about that, and also learn a little bit more about the mycelium network, which we should actually talk about the very beginning of the episode, which is a huge setup, which is completely deviating from the game because we never had an origin story in the game, and it was really cool to kind of see the setup and what happened. Silver, you want to give a little bit about that prologue and what happens?
Oh, at the beginning of the episode?
Yeah.
Well, we get this very important science lady. I believe her name is, if my notes are not wrong, which they probably are because they were really quick. Ibu Ratna, and she is a specialist in fungus stuff. No, no, basically in what country was it? My goodness.
Yeah, it's all good.
Indonesia. They almost kidnap her, right? It's kind of like not really like a can you come with us? It's more like you need to come with us because shit's going down. And it's very serious. She's on the drive. They're not really telling her anything. She's kind of nervous, like, why is the military kidnapping me and where are they taking me? Right? Once they arrive to this military facility, they show her through a microscope what she would be like. She immediately reacts by saying, what are you showing me here? This is stupid. Like, why is the sample even like prepared this way? And they're like, well, because it was prepared with human blood. And she's like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, this makes no sense. Like, this type of fungus would not survive in a human body or the blood or in a human, period, right? And they're like, yeah, hold my beer. Hold that thought really quick. And they show her the body of this person that was infected and is laying there on the bed. And she's like, she suits up and everything, all right? Because she's not going to know. She's a scientist, so I'm guessing she's smart enough to know. It's like, if I'm dealing with something that can be infectious, I might as well go ahead and suit myself up and make sure that nothing bites me. But she goes in there. She starts, working herself around the body, and she goes for the mouth, and then she starts seeing the little tentacle thingies. What are they called? The little.
I think it's mycelium, but it's like the little. I wouldn't even know the roots. I don't know what exactly to call it for the cordyceps, but it's definitely the stuff that pops out like when you look at pictures of cordyceps with like tarantula and snails and stuff. But like, oh god, the part that I think made me gross out was when she uses the scalpel to cut the leg open where the wound is, and you just hear the squish. And you're like, oh, okay, because you see the fungus like right there, and you're just like it's. Oh, it was disgusting. Oh,
yeah. Needless to say, there's not going to be enough cream or anything to be able to take away that kind of fungus. And she freaks out because she's like, oh my god, this thing is literally living in this human being, right? And as she sees that the little tentacles are coming out, she just like bails out. She's like, I'm out. Peace, deuces. And she immediately has this very morbid, very serious conversation with the general, because the general was kind of expecting her to have an answer. He's like, dear God, please, like, what do we do? How do we kill it? Like, is there like a vaccine? And she immediately cuts that as a possibility. She's like, there is no cure for this because this isn't a virus, this isn't a bacteria. This isn't something viral that we can just develop like COVID or anything like that we can, put in place or cure. Nothing. This is like a new species of go ahead.
Oh no, please continue. No.
It's just like this entire new different type of like fungus, right? That's taking over. Somehow has learned to be able to take over a human body and to survive in the human body, right? So even the military guy, again, just looks like that's not what he expected to hear. He was like, but you were the chosen one, Anakin. It's like, you were supposed to give us the answer to this. And she's like, no, we're screwed, dude.
Yeah.
Like, we're screwed.
So
go ahead.
No, keep going. I'm sorry. I'm jumping a lot today. Please continue.
No. Go ahead. There's just so much to dissect in that entire scene.
So one thing to know is that according to science, from what I remember, and anybody who's listening to this want to look it up and correct me, you can. But we are, I think, 96% genetically similar to fungi. And so that's why fungal infections are already really hard to navigate when it comes to being human. That's why we are seeing things where people are growing mushrooms in their ears from having AirPods in there for too long consistently. That's why fungal infections are just hard to basically destroy. And so, cordyceps is a fungal infection. And the other factor too is cordyceps is such an invasive one. There's really no way to deal with cordyceps. That's why, in general, in nature, most whenever one is infected with the cordyceps fungi, the community of those creatures are like, hey yo, like you infected, get out of here. I don't want to be near you. They will try to get away from them as much as possible. And the other factor too is, and I think it points out and tries to show how plausible it is the fact that when the earth warms just enough for like to help with adaptation and evolution, that's what pretty much happened. It was almost man-made. This apocalypse was man-made based off of what is inferred. And so that's why she says, as a mycologist, like there's no way you can do anything about this. Like this is the end game. Like it's adapted, it's evolved. We can't make a vaccine for it. We can't kill it. We have to try to stop it. But even then, it's like it would be impossible, because as the rest of it goes on, where she asked like how was she bitten, how many people were also bit. She also asked the question, where was the original person who bit her? And the police officer or the military officer couldn't even answer that. And then you factor in like they were a distribution plant for flour. Who knows if some spores from cordyceps were in there as well, which it was. We know that based off of the previous episode. Like it was inevitable. So like you said, when she said it was impossible, and then to kind of piggyback off of what you're saying about the other stuff where she says just bomb the city to try to contain it, it was just like, oh my gosh, like this is pretty much the no-win situation. You can't really stop it. You might be able to delay it, but realistically, it's done. Like, that's it for humanity. It's scary when you think about it.
Yeah. And she made a bunch of valid questions, and he was like, holy shit, I didn't even think. I mean, his reactions, the acting of the military guy was just like exactly like I think I would be reacting, like, oh shit, those are all really good questions. Crap, no, I don't have all the answers. I mean, we should probably figure that out. But I mean, by also her reaction, it's like, well, you know what? It doesn't even matter, dude. It doesn't even matter, because if we already have one person like this already infected, then everybody else is already infected, especially if it's coming from this flour mill, right? Like in Indonesia, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of people using flour products for everything, right?
Yeah.
So, so her reaction, her suggestion to him asking, what do we do, is bomb the city. Just bomb the city. And even then, it sounds like she's like, she almost wants to say, pray that that's going to be enough, right? Because it doesn't even sound like it's going to be enough, because she probably thinks like, okay, maybe we kill everybody in the city, but like whoever, people leave the city all the time. How much more has it spread? We don't know. And then after that, it looks like she kind of like moves from like this specialist to, like we were talking before the episode, to this whole vulnerable state where now she's no longer the expert. She's no longer Dr. Ratna. Now she is this vulnerable woman who just kind of, and she says, right, can somebody please give me a ride to my home? I just want to be with my family. But, and like I was telling you for the episode, I don't know what to make of it. Like, is she saying it as if like she's kind of regressed because of like the impending doom to like feeling like a little girl? Or is it like now she's no longer like the well-known, well-renowned Dr. Ibu Radna? Now she's like this elderly lady who is scared and just wants to be with her family. But I guess either way, either it's like I said, a little kid or like an elderly woman, you see her vulnerability immediately switch on to just, you know, feel just like she wants to be with her loved ones or somewhere safe till, you know, the end comes for them. But it was like an amazing, for me, it was kudos to the actress, because I mean, I could tell immediately, you could see immediately the flip, the switch from decisive, I know what's happening, to vulnerable, I'm scared. Like, I just want to go away or help me. You know, like her, it was like it was such a really well acted switch for her. It was great. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed her pain. That sounds horrible.
Schadenfreude. No, but like I think it is a testament to how well she sells it. I mean, you know, I think part of it really was she just was resigned to knowing and accepting that this was the end. Like, it's that crappy situation where your job is to acknowledge that the end of civilization and society as we know it is going to happen. So I just imagine she's just kind of like, cool, I just had a not so very good, terrible day, and having to tell somebody, hey, we're all gonna die. Can I go home and see my family, please? Like, you know, it's just heartbreaking, because you can, and like you said, kudos to the actress for selling it, but it was one of those, like, I want to spend my last moments with the people I love, and I think that's about as human as anybody could ever. That's as human as a response as it could be. Like, you want to spend those last moments with your family, because where else would you want to be? So that whole entire sequence,
they're probably gonna die too. They're I mean, she's probably. I didn't even think about that, but she's probably thinking, shit, like, my family's gonna die also.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also, like, I bet you she had a feeling that, like, they weren't going to really bomb the city. I mean, we don't get confirmation or anything from that, but
yeah,
like,
not that I remember now.
But, like, you know, I imagine she's like, well, I want to be able to spend whatever moments of being human we have left. So, yeah, that's what I got from it.
Yeah, no, it was a really powerful intro to the episode, right? And again, adding to the severity, because often in a lot of, and I'm not saying that, because technically this is not a zombie movie, but in a way it is, right? It's a post-apocalyptic sort of world, right? I would say that they're more of mutants rather than, I guess you could, I don't know. Are these things more mutant or are they more zombie?
I don't think I would call them zombies, and I think that's just because, well, we call like snails that are infected with cordyceps like zombie ones. So I mean, I guess you can call it zombie because they don't really have like the typical mental capacity or the ability to like reason or anything. They're pretty much more rage driven. They're more predatorial and less like sentient. I mean, I would argue, I guess you could say it's like zombie, but
well, they're almost intelligent to a point though, because like in this episode, right, they discover that they kind of get flagged by the clickers, right? Is that what they're called?
Well, yes.
They get tagged by them by like the roots in the ground.
Well, no. So the clickers. So the clickers are the ones that use their sonar, where you have to be super quiet.
Oh yeah. Those.
The mycelium just happens to be any. Yeah, and then the mycelium is usually if they're by active roots. So like at the beginning of the episode, after to get to that point in the episode, in the beginning we see like Tess and Joel watching Ellie to see if she turns, because she shows that she's got the bite, but she's immune. Yeah. But then like when they get to the hotel, they have like the not the hotel, the museum. The door has like the mycelium network or like the little covers for it, and then Joel breaks it and it shows that it's dry, so that means it wasn't there anymore. And then in contrast to the end of the episode, when he shoots that guy because he was turning. You see the little tendrils coming up. That's what it is, tendrils. Tendrils coming up and then showing that, hey, this one died. Everyone else get here. That's when we see like that giant wave of like infected running towards them because of the mycelium network.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't know if that's necessarily a zombie thing, because that that parasitic sort of like like intelligence, one hive mind, that's the word. That's sort of like hive mind interconnected intelligence that it has. I guess maybe not even mutant. I guess just a hive. It's a hive, right?
Yeah,
Because,
I mean,
no, yes, because I'm just saying because of the way that it's able to rapidly. It's like a network. It's like the internet. It has its own little internet. You know, it communicates from one place to another, and it was fairly quick too.
Yeah, I think Joel said at that point, he was like, we only have a minute before they get here. So you can imagine how quick and how decisive they had to be in that moment.
They definitely had 1 gigabit speed for sure.
Yeah,
Their
for
upload
sure.
speed was like 4K quality.
But to go back, just to take a step back from that, because that's like towards the very end, I have to say that the whole situation with the clickers was, oh my god, I was so tense when I was watching that sequence. Like, just seeing our dear Papi Pascal having to be like, be quiet, like, please, just don't do anything. I can't imagine even trying to control your breathing that precise in that type of situation. That part like really got to me, because all it took, I think, for the first clicker to recognize them was Ellie taking a small breath in. And it was just like, that was when it was game on. It was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's why kids brush your teeth, because if not, the parasitic zombies will find you. So don't be like Ellie. Even if it's the end of the world, hey, take a moment. Okay, take a moment. Go brush your teeth. Go wash your mouth. Don't be disgusting, people. Come on.
Could you imagine the clicker coming up being like, "Excuse me, you need to brush your teeth more. You've got halitosis. Doesn't good. Trust me, kid. You're gonna want to like save your teeth for later. Here you go. Okay, we're gonna do a redo. Be quiet. Like, I didn't think I could have a sense of smell, but I've got one. Let me come up to. I'm just gonna go back. We can play our roles. All right, cool. Everybody good?
And then they'll be like, "You kid, nice, minty breath, perfect. You get to live today."
Could you imagine if that's how the clickers like chose their victims?
Hey,
just being like,
you never know. Minty fresh. Oh no, couldn't be human. Minty fresh could not be human.
It's like we may have fungus, our faces completely morphed into like the mushroom, but hey, our teeth are white and pearly, and we got beautiful, wonderful breath here. That's what matters.
Yeah, beautiful, delicious. Well, not delicious, not too far there, but probably not the best words to use. Minty. Their breath is nice, but also with those same beautiful, clean teeth that they had, they took a chomp, did they not? Mm-hmm. And who did they chomp at, Mr. Anbu?
Well, they actually chomped on two people. They chomped both on Tess and on Ellie. And we don't find out about Tess being infected until towards the latter end, when they find the Firefly camp completely decimated because they had to fight infected and they lost. But what we were noticing was after fighting the two clickers in the museum, Tess was very agitated and very like angry and very just like blunt, which was so different than what she used to be. Because as we know, Tess, like, sure, she's kind of like the we get shit done type of person, but she wasn't like the shut the fuck up, Joel, and we need to do this. So it was a very different sort of character. Even like Papi Pascal's face is like, excuse me, who are you?
Yeah, and Ellie picks up on the uptake a whole lot quicker than he does, though.
Oh yeah, she does. She goes, holy shit, she's infected. Just because, like, I mean, Tess was saying stuff like, that's not home, the home that her and Joel shared, and was like, we need to keep moving, and was just very adamant, which was so out of character for her. But it makes sense when we find out that she's infected.
Yeah, and a lot happens in that small little scene, right? Like, we see Papi Pascal being a little bit of a dick because he, as soon as he finds out, he kind of like backs away from her, and you can tell how hurt she is from that like retraction that he does,
Yeah.
because and as we'll know, right, as this season develops and we see a little bit more about Tess, because I feel like we find out more about Tess as the episodes continue. But to not give anything away, they have a lot of. I feel like she served as one of his main rocks, not just Tommy, his brother, but her too. She became the other partner that in his life, aside from his daughter who passed at the beginning of the series. But Tess, I feel like kept them alive too, but more to the point, right? The entire interaction that they have, because like you could see that she just gets really hurt from the retraction. It's like, calm down, dude. Like, I'm not gonna bite you. Like, I haven't transformed into anything. There is no need for that shit. But in reality, there really wasn't. But I mean, at least I noticed it, right? It's as if like, your significant other has the flu, right? And you're like, ew, don't touch me, right? Obviously, it's gonna hurt your feelings, but you know that you don't want to get them sick. So it's like justified, but at the same time, it's like, but I love you. Give me some love, And that's kind of how she looked. At least that's how it looked like to me when he kind of like retracted with the whole, ew, you're bitten now. Like, don't touch me,
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that too.
No, I definitely do. No, so what's interesting was like when I think back to the game, right? Like Tess and Joel, it was hinted, but it was never really given a lot. There was very little subtext or clues to their romance, because I do think in a way it wasn't fully romantic, at least like on Joel's side. I think it was a connection that was like they both needed someone to be there for them, and it was like two people finding each other, and so that was kind of like the thing, was like that was their connection. And I do think Tess loved Joel, but Joel's heart has been so close that he can't love her the way that she loved him. And so that kind of ties into when not only is she she's urging Joel to like bring her to where she needs to go because she believes that Ellie is immune. And she believes in a way it's like kind of like the redemption for every probably shady thing that they've done in their lifetime. But like one of the things that is very key to indicating that they were in fact together was like she says she'll never ask him for anything, even to feel the way that she felt. So we know that Tess loved Joel. It's confirmed. Yeah. It's not explicitly said, but it's basically said that she loved him and that she cared about him. And you could see that in her actions. You could see that in her motivation. You could see that in like very subtle ways, but it was one of the most basically blunt to the point moments without saying it. And it's beautiful, and that's what makes it gut-wrenching, is knowing that like she lived with knowing she could never be everything that she wanted to be for Joel, but that never stopped her from loving him. And so that's why when he does flinch and he backs away from her, she's hurt by it, because this was the man that she loved and she can't be with him. And it's
definitely not anymore, for sure.
Yeah.
If she had very little bit of a chance before because of his entire like damaged mental health, now definitely not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's sad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, it's devastating, because I mean, like, she ended up to try to add even more to just like how sad I feel for Tess when thinking about it. Like, here's a man that clearly he, as we've talked about, is almost robotic. Like, even with her love, she couldn't save him, I think is another way to put it. Is like, she couldn't bring him to who he was. And she had to learn to live with that herself. And so I think that also adds even more into, before they leave, she says, save who you can save. And so I think what she's saying is like, don't just save Ellie, save yourself. Like, you can save yourself and find yourself again. You could save the world, you could save everybody, but really, I think in that moment, she's really saying, you save those who you can save, which is really save yourself, and you can find yourself again.
I didn't catch that, but you're right. You're right. Now that I think about it, it's her own way of saying, find a way to move on your own. Because even though he's a robotic thing, he still is like, you can see he's also kind of like fighting to try and understand how. Well, I don't know. Well, again, it goes back to how damaged his mind is, right? Mm-hmm. That like he's still kind of like having a hard time understanding, when did it happen, how did it happen, like whose fault it was. Like, you see like a different, and again, Bobby Pascal's acting is amazing, because you could, at least to me, you could see in his face like a range of things just kind of going through his head. Just he's just kind of like going through different phases, trying to make sense of it, because it's just not something that he couldn't comprehend so easily. For some reason, he just couldn't come to terms that she got bit, and like what now? Right? And thankfully she still is the badass that she is, and clearly they don't have a lot of time, right? They're all coming after them, right? Since they've already been notified that the little, those little brutes again?
So the tendrils, because they're in the moment as they're like talking about Tess being infected and everything, I think. So one of the guys comes back alive as infected.
Oh, yeah.
So then Joel just shoots him, like, okay, no big deal. And then realizes, as he sees the little tendrils coming out and touching the body of the infected, and then he like goes to look outside and sees the swarm coming, and it's like, okay, we literally have like a minute, we don't have time. And Tess is like, all right, like, bet. So she just comes in like the badass she is just like knocking off the cap of the gas tanks, putting gas everywhere, like on the floor, throwing grenades in there for extra measure, because she's like, look, I'm gonna be thorough, this is like my equivalent of double tap. And it's telling Joel, like, you need to go.
Double tap, nice.
Yeah, I mean, she was following the rules of Zombieland. You gotta tap, man. You just gotta double tap.
Don't forget, guys, always do that. Dude, that's another, we need to do that.
Oh my god, Zombieland, yes.
We're doing this. Yes, we're doing that, by the way. Anyways, double tap, yes, that's a good one. Good for you, man. Way to go. Way to reference the zombie. Way to make a zombie reference.
Thank you. I try. But I do agree with you real quick on seeing Bobby Pascal's like acting, because I do think you kind of see it really quickly, him going through the 5 stages. I think he realizes that he does care about her, even though he can't give her what she wanted. He is almost, you can see that he refuses to accept that she's going to die when she's telling him to get going. And then you could see the moment where he accepts that he has to keep moving forward, because that's the best way he can show that he does love Tess in the way that he can love her. And then just, without saying anything, just grabs Ellie and they start. But you can tell in that moment.
And they start what? I'm sorry? Because it cut off for a second. He grabs Ellie and they start what?
He grabs Ellie and he just like forces her to come with him to leave, because he realizes that that's the best way he can show that he does love Tess, I think. Is that like he can honor her at least by doing what she's asking him. Like, it's not gonna be enough to match what Tess has given him, but at least he can say that, like, I do care about you, and it sucks that I am losing you, but I have to keep moving forward. And so I think you do see that in Bobby Pascal's acting is like you see in such a short span of time him like having to accept that he's losing someone that he does really care about. And then but he has to keep going. And it's well executed and well done.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. Definitely. And I mean, I didn't get to finish playing the game, and I wish that I feel like Ellie could have benefited from somebody like Tess. Not that, Joel is bad. All I'm saying is it's kind of one of those situations of like how maybe Anakin would have not turned into Darth Vader had Qui-Gon Jinn raised him rather than Obi-Wan Kenobi, sort of situation. Like I feel like Tess would have been like a much better mentor to Ellie.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That's also the sad part of it all is that I think even Ellie had already like grown kind of close in a very short span with Tess. Like I think Ellie probably even looked up to her because she could see how much of a badass she was, and Tess gave her a lot of respect too. Actually treated her like a person, rather than some kid.
I kind of want to piggyback in a different direction and say that like
piggyback the other way then,
or not piggyback. I guess I want to say.
Why are you trying to take my piggy and take it somewhere else,
man?
I'm
piggybacking on what you're saying in a different way.
The piggy's over here. Why do you want to take my pig somewhere else, man?
Listen, why don't we just go make some pork belly and some bacon and then we're square, right?
You had me at pork belly.
But one of the things I think the episode shows, and it ties into future episodes, and I'm gonna spoil a little bit because we're gonna have enough time before we get back to talking about it. But like, I think we see in this moment the fear of how Joel feels about how he's never good enough. Because like if you remember the episode, just sorry to jump ahead, everybody, but like in his talk with Tommy when he's trying to get Tommy to take Ellie out to where she needs to be, Joel has felt inadequate, and in many ways, he has felt like he's not good enough. He's getting older. He's not good at this, and I think him losing Tess kind of for him reinforces that he's kind of stuck doing this, but he doesn't feel like he has what it takes to do that. And on the other end, and for Ellie, I think to a degree, Ellie was forming a bond with Tess, but I think this episode shows how guarded Ellie is because as we hear from Ellie in the same episode as Joel's confession, everyone either dies that Ellie grows close to or they leave her. And so I do think we kind of see the way that Ellie keeps herself guarded with people because like she uses humor, she uses trying to joke about stuff, she like tries to like just be there but not really be there, and so when Ellie is infected, we do see her breaking her guard breaking down when she realizes that Tess is infected. But I think it goes to show that like her and Joel are pretty much very similar. And I think that's another thing where Tess again says save who you can save, because not only is she saying like save yourself, Joel, but also save Ellie at the same time, because like Tess just knows, and that's why Tess is a badass. She can just tell that like these two need to save each other. And that's the beauty of the show is like, yeah, it's a show that has like infected, we won't call them zombies, we'll just call them infected, but it's a show about connection and about human relationship and about bonds and how we move forward in life through our relationship. And so I think that's
bringing it all back together into how we want to bond with Bobby Pascal. I get it. I see where you're going with this. Keep going.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. So like, Bobby Pascal, if you're hearing this, we should all have a conversation. We should all like shoot the breeze and stuff. It'll be great. But
that's what it is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think that's what this episode does so well with, even though it's a short one, like we've glossed over so much because it's literally a lot of it is act. what it does really well is it symbolizes what the intention of the series is, which is about connection and about how we can save each other through our relationships and through our like friendships and through our dynamics in life. Like no matter how shitty it gets, we can always help each other out. And that's the beauty of this episode and of the series in general.
Yeah, I agree. Just don't be a Tess. Don't get bitten, guys.
Yeah.
Don't get bitten.
R.I.P. to Tess.
Explode in R.I.P.
Oh god, and then the way that she like when she's trying to get the lighter and then that one infected starts like putting his mouth on her to like put his tendrils in her. Oh god, that was...
What was the point of that? I still don't understand. That felt like, not that it was unnecessary. I just like, I was trying to find the point in it. Like, what was the point of having that like French kiss with the fucking infected guy? It just...
I think it was just trying to show one of the other ways that you could be infected, honestly. And I think it was meant to just kind of indicate the brutality of the type of world that they lived in. Honestly, it was also probably to build up suspense, to show like how how close it was to the infected catching up with Joel and Ellie. I think you could also argue that it's a symbolic send-off for Tess, but I do agree it was kind of gratuitous in a way. I didn't really feel like it added to the story. It just kind of was like, oh cool, I get to watch some dude make things worse for our badass over here, and I don't think they want to see that.
Yeah, because I mean, the same could be said of like if it's to like add tension to the whole, I can't light this this lighter to blow them all up. It could have still worked where she gets tackled and she's wrestling and she's kicking and she's fighting and she's still trying to light the lighter. I feel like that would have felt more tense than like she gets pinned against the wall and like gets Frenched by the infected while she's trying to light up the lighter. I was like, I don't know. It was weird. It confused me, to be honest with you. Things like that normally don't bother me, but that kind of confused me. I was trying to understand I don't know. I feel like I lost a lot of time trying to figure out what was the point of that. And
I mean, I think it would just really, what I think it goes to show is just like how the tendrils and how the mycelium works. Like it doesn't have to just be through a bite. It can be through something as simple as that. But like, I think also
French infected guys. It's the best thing to do. If you see an infected person, just walk up to them, French them, guys. It's the smart thing to do.
Like, I want to be part of the hive mind. No problem. But like, for me, like one of the ways that they could have built tension, kind of similar to what you're saying, is like one of the things that bugged me was like, Tess, you could probably have held a grenade in your hand and then dropped it and then blown it up before they even got close to Joel and Ellie. Like, or you could have had it to where like she was trying to light it and it didn't work, so she throws it and starts diving for like a grenade, and then like you see the infected coming at her, and then even if like you still wanted to have like a makeout moment, I guess, or like you could even have it where she's like pinned on the ground, she's got her hand, like you haven't seen it but you know that she's already pulled the pin from the grenade, and as it's like trying to like infect her, you can see like her hand shaking and then letting go, and then everything explodes. Like there could have been something that felt more like adding to the tension rather than just a dude walking up to be like, oh hey, how's it going? You want to be infected? I got you. Like, so it is. I do agree with you. It is one of the parts that just makes you go like, it could have been done differently. I don't know why you wanted it that way, Neil Druckmann, but like, bruh, you didn't have to do that to Tess.
Yeah, it was just it's fine, guys. Honestly, it's my only one complaint out of like everything that's happened, and as you know, since we've already seen the entire series, it's probably the only thing that I'm gonna say that just throws me off, and it's weird to me. I just didn't see the point. That in the stupid fireflies, it's a stupid name. Oh my god, come on, it's the apocalypse, guys. Fireflies, for the love of God, seriously, be more creative next time. Jesus fucking Christ, Lord, I swear that if this reality we're in right now, if we have some weird apocalypse and we have like the Care Bears, I am gonna lose my shit. I'm just gonna log out, guys. That's it. It's like, no, how did he go? It was the zombies. No, he just logged himself out as soon as he found out that there was Care Bears as the rebellion.
Oh my god.
No, fudge, dude. Give me a break.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. I get the symbolism, but I can also I can see your side. Oh my god.
The symbolism. Anbu, you're too kind. Come on.
I just,
again, it could have been the fighting phoenixes, right? Or like the undead. Hell, dude, the undead would have been better. It would have more been a hit on the. It would have been more on the nose, but still more relevant and way better than the fireflies.
And I mean, like I said, I get it, and you know, it's one of those things where it's more like I'd argue symbolism is and get way too over the top, but I can also understand how cheesy of a name it is, because the other thing too is, let's be real, how many other series or mediums use fireflies as symbolism for, like, we see it as a common trope. It's very common. So like, fair, I get it. I get the argument. It is definitely overused. But I also laugh because I get the feeling they're like, should we use phoenixes? Nah, we don't need them to symbolize rising from the ashes of like an apocalypse. Humanity will rise again. Let's go with fireflies. Yeah.
And, or like, I don't know, make it into a thing where it's like, oh, follow the fireflies. They will lead you to the way. No, it's fuck. It's a ridiculous name. Yeah, I feel like it only suits it with the series from like the early 2000s Firefly. That's probably the only time I think it's maybe justified. But aside from that, why?
Man, we should just have a whole podcast where you rant about it for an hour. I think we need to let that happen. Just like picking on.
Just let me rant. Just let me loose my devices.
But man,
I'll probably give myself an aneurysm.
Oh my, I no, you'd be fine. But like, I do agree that like, overall, I feel like this episode, it has a lot that's said, but I can also see why it's not one of the stronger episodes. But I do think that ending takes away from it, because otherwise it was a good setup. It was a good like episode to set the tone of just how scary this world is and how ruthless it is. Like, I mean, we already have seen it in episode one. We see it in like the intro about like what happened at the start, but it really sets the tone of just like how scary the world is. Because if it's not people that you have to worry about trying to kill you, you got these infected that are more than happy to do the job, and nowhere is truly safe.
All I'm saying is, I'd rather be killed by Fedra. What's it called? The government?
Fedra?
Yeah. Than a firefly. I don't want to be known as the guy that got killed by a firefly.
Oh my god!
I refuse. Just if I live in that world, Anbu, just tell him anything else. Literally kill me. Literally anything else. I don't want anybody to know that I got killed by a firefly.
I'll just say he died defending Papi Pascal from.
There you go.
From infected.
Honorable death.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, but you know, I will admit though that like, even with this episode being what it was, I am so stoked for episode 3, because oh my god,
guys,
that is going to be such a good
great.
episode.
It's definitely going to be a 2-parter.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
It needs to be. I think there's so much packed into that episode that it would be doing it an injustice if you tried to fit it into just one episode.
Yeah, that's what she said. Anyways, I guess that's it for today's episode.
So before we go, please, if you have not yet, don't forget to click like, please subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to this on. We'd love to have you. And thank you for joining us on this journey.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. And Bobby Pascal, if you're listening, please hit us up, DM us, send us your DMs, please.
I mean, realistically, if we could interview him for like a podcast, could you imagine how fun that would be? Just to kind of like get perspective.
Yeah. I mean, I'd faint probably first, and then recollect myself and be like, "Hey, guess who emailed us today?" Right? And then you pass out and have to wait like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Have to call your significant other, be like, "Is he up now?" It's like, "Yes." Yeah. But yeah, that would be amazing. Oh, man, I think I could die happy after that. Mm-hmm. After the episode, of course.
Of course, yeah. No, you need the episode first, and then you can die.
Right. Content, guys. Always think content, and then you can die. Because, anyways, don't forget, follow, subscribe, the whole YouTuber thing.
You know what to do, and take care, everyone.